Hello everybody, I'm Dominodyl. In this video, I'm gonna kind of talk about Outlast 2, the stuff I liked and didn't like. I wouldn't really call this a review, necessarily, more of just going over the game in general and talking about it. Partially because I don't have a video today, and I would like to, kind of use this as a conclusion to the series, get my final thoughts out, because this is really gonna be it, other than a possible DLC or sequel in the far future. This is going to be it for this game, so I wanted to give this semi-review kind of thing. I have some notes down here that I'm going to kind of read off of, just bullet points. So, first of all, before I start, I'm going to completely spoil the game, so if you haven't seen it yet and you would like to, I'd go watch that first and then come back to this. So, here we go. Good stuff with the game. First of all, it was scary. Maybe not to everybody. I have seen people on Steam and other places just say that the game is not scary. Now, to me, anything is going to scare me. I mean, I said that from the beginning. I'm super easily scared, so I don't even know if I would consider this necessarily a good point. It's good for me, though. So, of course, scary game, it's scary. Good job. The game looks good, although I did have quite a bit of frame rate problems. I will take partial blame for this, but I think it's definitely something that I need to mention, because it was kind of annoying, especially by the end when it was happening pretty consistently around scripted events or cutscenes, and yeah, that was really annoying. But overall, it looks great. I think I'd still consider that a plus. Another great thing is everything to do with the school. Every time I was in the school, I was super scared, and I think way better than any other part of the game was just the school in general. Nothing else really compared to it to me, so I think I need to mention that that was great. Specifically, the school sections were the scariest. The music was also great, along with, I'll lump in voice acting with that. Basically, sound-related stuff. Music was great, I liked it. Voice acting was surprisingly good, actually. Maybe I just don't play enough games with considerable voice acting parts, but I actually thought that was surprisingly good, and almost made me care when Lynn died. He was the voice actor for Blake was rather good, almost made me care, which I will get into later. The ending. I'm not gonna put this in my bad section of the game, but I definitely say this is more of average. I think the ending is strange, and I'll touch back on this in a little bit later. I liked the Jessica parts, everything to do with Jessica and the school in the last 30 minutes or so. I felt like that was great. Finally ramped that story up, but I feel like the main story, which sadly is the main part of the game, was really not finished, and hopefully will be more developed in maybe a DLC. Although, of course, you got to pay for that, so it's a little bit disappointing. I just want, I'd be happy to buy more story at this point, basically. So, ending is fine. Okay, so let's move on to the bad stuff. Sadly, there's a good chunk of bad stuff, I'd say. The story, which the ending, I would say, goes into the good category, barely. The story overall definitely is in the bad category. Now, I'm not going to talk about this too much, because there seems to be a lot of story that you can either get through notes, which I did not read. I read some of them, but none of the big ones, because, I just don't have time for that. I don't think you should be expected to read those in a game. And I think there was a lot of story explained in those notes that I never got because I never read them. And there's more story, I think, than I expected that relates to the first game. So I definitely recommend, if you don't mind maybe minor spoilers for the first game, to definitely look up, Outlast 2 theories or ending explained type videos, because those are definitely going to explain it way better than I could. And I think that would make the game overall seem a little bit better. So, if you feel like you need more story, I think there's more to be heard. You just got to kind of seek it out. So that's why I'm not going to talk too much about this, because I think it definitely exists, and I don't think I can add anything to the conversation. So just leave it at that. It's not great, but it seems to be a lot not really shoved in your face, though. Now, to me, a story should be shoved in your face. That's the point. But, that's why it's in the bad category. So, I think more importantly than the story is specifically the characters. So, what were the characters really in this game? It's hard to even say anything was a character. Blake, as the main protagonist, obviously, not going to have much development because it's me. I'm playing as him. So, Blake, sure. I kind of cared about Blake, but who doesn't care about the protagonist unless they're horrible? You got to go to a special level of bad to get someone to hate the character they're playing as. So Blake is fine, and that's really it. I can't look at anybody else and say that's a good character. Marta, the big pickaxe lady, she was introduced super early. I think she was one of the first people that would even attack you in the game. I'm pretty sure the first person who could attack you in the game. She was interesting. She's this strangely tall, old lady with a glowing pickaxe. Sadly, that is literally all I know about her. I wish a little bit more was explained. It doesn't have to be necessarily. I'm not saying every character needs a backstory, but I'd really like for there to be more on her, since she was probably the second most prominent character behind Blake and Jessica. I forgot to say Jessica. Jessica was fine. I'll give her a pass because she got quite a bit of story. But I wouldn't even consider a character. I wouldn't consider her a character necessarily. You don't really interact with her much, and it's always... You're interacting with the monster in Jessica's kind of area, more than Jessica. So, Jessica's in a weird spot too, where she's not very well developed, but I do feel like she was a okay character. Like, I felt good about ending the game on her. It felt appropriate. She felt like a big character. And speaking of Jessica, I think she overshadows Lynn, who I had no emotional connection with at all. I saw her for, 2 minutes in the beginning of the game in the helicopter. I saw her for about 2 more minutes after that, and that was it. Until the end when she died. And I'm sorry, I just don't care. I don't care about someone dying if I just met them. Not just met them, but just got reunited with them at least. So that really took it away for me. I felt like I was really supposed to care about that when I just really, I couldn't care less about Lynn dying. The other characters I would like developed, specifically Noth, Sullivan Noth, the main bad guy, the big fat guy. I don't even know if you would know his name if I didn't keep saying it so much. The random people might talk about him a lot, but considering he is absolutely uninvolved with Blake at almost all times, he only speaks to me one time, right before killing himself. I was pretty mad about that when it happened. And a lot of this is going to be kind of restating what I said at the end of the final episode yesterday. I just wanted to, kind of put it into a different video format, and I've had about 2 weeks now to process this information, so some of my opinions have changed, or I've gained new appreciation for something. So, yeah, Noth, big wasted character. I think definitely Lynn is number one, because I'm supposed to care about Lynn when I did not at all. But Noth is up there. I think, come on. How am I supposed to care about Lynn? Noth, whatever. And the last kind of character is, I don't remember her name, but the heretic lady, and specifically the heretics overall. I don't even really care about that one lady. What are the heretics? I have no idea. All I know is that they want Lynn to have the demon baby. I don't really know why. I think just to spite Noth and his people. I don't know. Are they even people? I don't even know at this point. They have like sticks coming out of their heads. I have no idea. I would really like to know more about the heretics, but it never gets explained, much like the rest of the game. So, moving on from the characters, I think I've talked all I can talk about that. Blake cannot jump, which I kind of made a joke out of in the series, but was really frustrating. Especially, I cut out a lot from this series. And there are a lot of moments where there's something that Blake should clearly be able to jump over, and he just can't. And then you die. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit, too, in a bit, because, oh my god, the dying has some problems. Blake would literally get stuck on a rock in the ground. he would get stuck on. Something that I can't even see with my camera. It's like under me. I don't even know what I'm stuck on. I just stop and then I die. And that was really annoying. And I just, I don't know why he jumped so short. I guess just to keep him contained in the area they wanted him in, which is obvious, but it made it really annoying just to do anything with Blake. He was so bad at any physical activity, really, is what I kept saying, and that's definitely true. The other problem with dying is that there's too much chasing, and specifically chasing where you have no idea where you're going, which means you run into a dead end and die, and then you respawn, you run into another dead end and you die before you finally find the right way to go. Once you die and respawn in a horror game like this, it really takes away any tension for that entire section because you're just redoing the same thing. And if you die enough and you just get frustrated, which I can guarantee you happened, I think the video playing in the background might be the time, depending on what I put here, but I think I'm going to put the time where I spent 44 minutes trying to get past the bow and arrow guy, who I could not figure out what to do. It's so obvious now, but I spent 44 minutes trying to figure out, how do I get past this guy? And, that wasn't a big moment that I would consider a problem with the game. That was me. But there are too many points in the game where you're just running and you have no idea where you're going and you die over and over and over again. And it just takes away any amount of scariness that the game has because you're just replaying the same thing. And you start to see the script play out, the characters say the same thing every time, and that it takes you out of the game. Doesn't even matter what type of game it is. Once you get taken out of the game, it's ruined. So a lot of moments got ruined by that kind of thing. And it happened in the school too. Not as much, but even the school, which I would consider near perfect, had these problems as well where, I don't know where to go. It's just there's doors everywhere that I can't open. Half of them are locked and the other half I can't even interact with. And, how am I supposed to know which door to go in? Sometimes it was obvious, but most of the time it was not. So, that's basically all I got to say about the game. I don't really want to give it a score necessarily. I just feel like a number is kind of arbitrary. I could say, I don't know, 7, 8 out of 10. It's in that range. But, I don't really want to give it a score per se. I just want to say that I definitely enjoyed the game. Don't get the wrong impression. I talked, I think, probably more about the bad stuff. But, I did like the game overall, definitely. As I said, if a DLC or sequel comes out, I will most certainly be buying it. No second thoughts even. I'm still that confident in this game. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and I have no idea what video is going to be tomorrow. I will try to figure it out, and I will see you then. Bye.